Ella Rose, you are a mental wellness coach. Would you please introduce yourself for us?
Okay, so hi, John. Thank you for having me here. So in my day job, I'm a phlebotomist. So I'm a skilled professional whereby I draw blood for patients that they come for their, 3 monthly draw or whenever the doctors open a test for them. And also, I am recently certified a mental wellness coach. And I have been helping people, discover what is it that they want out of life, help people with anxiety, depression, etc. Being someone who battled with anxiety for the past 20 years. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Don't want to bore you.
That's okay. How did your spiritual journey begin, and did you experience a calling at any point?
Well, I think for a vast majority of my life, I was looking for that higher power. And I grew up in a strict religion, which I don't want to mention. So I just do it because, it's been asked by like my parents, my elders, and I didn't have any calling at that time. I just followed, I have questions, but I wasn't allowed to ask because it was a taboo to ask. It's just follow. And then fast forward, I think in my 30s, I had there were questions that were in my head, like, is there more to life than just religion?
Hmm.
I felt that I didn't find God in all the practices that I was following. And I did jump from faith to faith, and I always believed that God to be somebody, like a man sitting up there, and who's angry at you, and who's going to punish you if you don't do what you're meant to do. And then I started reading a lot of I went now with the YouTube, with the internet, YouTube, there's texts that you can find that are, where you can't access for hundreds of years. And then I started to do a lot of research, and one fine day I started hearing voices. I thought I was going mad, but I believe it's the higher intelligence in me that is telling me that, hey, whatever that you're looking for, it's not in the books, it's not in the videos that you watch, it's not in the religion, because I believe in a God so dearly. I was like religiously practicing, and then one fine day it just dawned upon me that there is actually no such thing as a religious God, but that was like a higher power, like the universe.
Mm.
So when I had that awakening, like a spiritual awakening, I felt I was super devastated. I felt that I was being lied to. Like all
Devastated.
these years of, yeah, I was very devastated. All these years of following, um, like a faith. I felt a little bit betrayed because I spent so much time, energy into this. And that's
Mm.
when I heard this voice telling me that, hey, whatever that you're looking for, you can't find in whatever you're searching or even in religion. So that was the first time I believe I have a spiritual awakening. So what happened to me after that was I felt that I went through like a catharsis. It was like,
Mm.
and a few times I was in shock, thinking that, you know, it's like finding out that my real parents are not my real parents. It felt like that.
Wow.
It felt like um, it's just being lied to, being betrayed. And
Hmm.
I spent, yeah, believe me, John, I spent 7 days in my room in total darkness because it's just a very harrowing incident
Mm.
where
Mm.
I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to go on from here, and I'm thinking that, hey, I've got a spiritual awakening. I should be happy because now I know the truth. But there was something else that was happening. Like I felt that why should I live anymore?
Mm, mm.
There were some nights where I told myself, oh, I'm just gonna end it all because I didn't ask for this spiritual awakening.
Mm. Ella,
So, yeah.
you said this spiritual awakening, this is something that seriously challenged what you had believed up to this point. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I felt a lot of things was challenged because I have these beliefs, I have this identity, and it
Mm,
shaped me.
mhm,
So all of a sudden, I don't have all of that. I didn't know what to fall back on. I felt empty, like I was in a void for that seven
empty.
days. Yeah, I was just empty. And I'm like, where do I go from here? There were some nights where I felt that I can't breathe. I was just crying. I was sobbing. I was just
Mm,
doing like a release. Um, and like a lot, like all the emotions I never thought that I had, it suddenly just come out all together. I was going, it was high and low, high and low. And so the end of the 7 days, I actually felt like I shed, it's a cliche, but I felt like I shed a skin. Like
mhm,
I'm not the old person anymore. I felt like I'm being born again, like a rebirth.
mhm, mhm,
And then I started to see things in a whole new different light. I started to be, because when I was in all this religion and faith, I was always judging, I was always angry, I was always depressed, etc. But now I
mm.
felt so light. I felt so light, and I'm more forgiving when people want to, like, I would say, argue about religion and who's right and who's not.
Mm,
I just listened with, I was patient, and I did not fight them like how I used to be when I was religious. So
mm.
I felt that it was very light, it was very freeing. And
Yes.
suddenly I thought of the Bible verse, like, know the truth and the truth shall set you free. So
Mhm,
that's this quote just came, and I'm like, I felt so free because I don't have to do all these things. I don't have to judge. I don't have to be angry. I don't have to feel depressed. But I felt rejuvenated, like I felt this bliss in me, or so to say.
amazing. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. Can you think of a period in your life, a difficult phase? You mentioned 7 days in the darkness, but after that, was there a challenge you faced where your new understanding helped you get through?
Oh, absolutely. So there was some bits where helped me, and there were some bits that didn't help me, because when I got to know, I mean, some of my friends are spiritual, and then they started inviting me to so many different kind of ceremonies,
Hmm.
and I started going here and there, and after for a while, after a couple of months, I feel like this feels like a something organized, like another faith, another religion that I'm jumping myself into,
Hmm.
you know. So I tried a few here and there, but then I know that high intelligence is always communicating with me,
Yes.
and it's just telling me to just be free, free to be, free to act. You don't have to go for all this ceremony, these rituals, etc.
Hmm.
You just got to sit in silently, find a quiet space, and that's how I get a lot of downloads from, I would say, the source in the universe. So that
Wow.
has actually helped me and guide me all these years of my life. Yeah.
You mentioned this
So the
higher
last 4 years.
intelligence the
Yeah.
last 4 years. What have you learned from the higher intelligence?
Well, the first rule is non-judgmental.
Hmm.
Yeah. That's the first law, I would say, that we are all the same. It's just that we look differently.
Yeah.
And there is this thing, there's a Mayan philosophy. It's like, I am another you. So if I hurt you via words, or if I stab you or whatsoever not, I'm doing the same to me.
Hmm.
Yeah. So if I hurt you, means I hurt myself. So because I don't want to hurt myself, I would not hurt you. So there is that kindness, that patience, and whenever someone is trying to, maybe agitate you or annoy you, you will you will slow down. You won't be quick to be angry.
Mhm.
The other thing is love.
Mm.
Is knowing that because the high intelligence love everyone. And what more else? Like sometimes you say, oh, we don't like this person, oh, I hate you, blah blah blah. But this high intelligence love everyone. So it's teaching you how to love another you. So you see things in a different light, that at the end of the day, everyone is just a projection of you. So that there is no need to judge, there is no need to look down on, there is no need to compete, because everyone has a path, everyone has a calling. So it's all about building, having that connection with the high intelligence, the source. Be silent, and everything will be, given to you.
Can you think of a person who acted as a mentor or a guide on this journey?
Well, yeah, because there were times where there were crazy things that started happening to me even more, where I used to have it when I was young. I used to have lucid dreaming, I used to have astral travel, out of body experiences, and I wasn't allowed to talk about all these things because it's a taboo in
Mm.
religion. I spoke to people of different faith, like, and then they were telling me that, oh, you're doing something that is not of God.
Mhm.
So finally, through one of my friend, I met this Reiki master.
Mhm.
So I got to have a conversation with him and tell him, I just shared with him all the things that happened to me. And that's when I was also introduced to Reiki healing, because even though I was awakened, I still had issues that I haven't cleared. I know that there was some healing that needs to take place. So through this Reiki master, I learned a little bit more about, how to, now that I'm spiritually awakened, how do I go from here? Or like, where do I go from here? So he has been my mentor for the past couple of years. And he has like just guided me and tell me like, this the thing you need to do, this is the thing you need to read. And sometimes when I get like a revelation, I will share with him, and he was like, he also have that aha moment. And I feel
Mm.
that's how we share, we exchange knowledge. And through that, I actually met more people who are just spiritually aligned with me. And that also encouraged me, that I'm not alone on this journey.
Not alone on the journey.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite spiritual quote or phrase that you turn to for inspiration or for hope?
I actually do have a few. Yeah, I do have a few. But I think my favorite one would have to be knowing that there is only one. I think so. Now I'm following this guru, Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, and he said that the only purpose in life is God, which is the source, the high intelligence, and and that's the only goal. So that would have to be like my favorite line. That nothing else is important. Mm, and yeah, I think it's deeper than just saying that the only goal is God. I think it's deeper than that, which we will need another session for that.
Very interesting. And finally, Ella, um, what have you learned from your journey that you would like to pass on?
Well, actually, that there is a lot, because a lot of times we are so, what's the word I would say? We are, the exterior will actually influence our interior. We always see people like making the money, having that good life because they have a big house, big car, all the
Mhm.
material things,
Yes.
and they're just working on that, but they actually don't know who they are. Like they don't know their identity. They never ask themselves deep questions as to why they're here. Where did they come from, and where do they go from here? So I would highly encourage that people actually take some time, to actually ask themselves, these difficult questions, you know, because sometimes you really have to go on a journey to find out a little bit about these things, because I know a lot of like organizations, you know, all the faith that I used to follow, they don't open you up to these things, you know. The whole coming from experience, you know, going to church on a Sunday, praying 5 times a day as a Muslim. So you don't get much from here, I feel, because there isn't the right kind of people that is going to elevate you, because they're just telling you to do, but they don't actually tell you why. So if you find the right people that you are able to ask these questions and actually work with them, you know, to actually rediscover a little bit more of yourself. Like, you are externally rich, but spiritually you're very poor.
Externally rich, but spiritually poor.
Yeah.
Ella Rose, thank you so much for speaking with me today.
Thank you, John.